Hey guys, it's Toby here. Um, Welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the overview of the whole year when it comes to the matter of my 3D art. And in the process, there'll also be a sculpting time lapse in the background where I sculpt a Tailor girl that was freestyling. Actually, this sculpt, I was doing it for quite a while. It was a long lasting project. Like, it was a personal project just for fun. I kept visiting, revisiting, leaving it, and it actually started losing attraction towards it. Like, I didn't feel like coming back to it a lot of times. And even though even with how far I've reached in the whole model, I'm not sure I'll come back to complete it because I feel like if I just rather start something else, since if I start something else it will probably be way better than this. But actually I learned a lot from the whole sculpting process of this character, even though it isn't complete. It's actually the hands I sculpted for this character are the best set of hands I've ever sculpted so far. I think they're the fourth hand. I think it's the fourth hand I've ever sculpted, and I'm actually happy with that. So, alright, back to the overview of the year concerning my 3D art. I actually would like to start from last year, since due to some one thing or the other there wasn't much this year, and also since I just started my 3D art journey last year, it would be nice to just talk about everything. So how I even started was my eldest brother was like, while we were at home during the corona period, my eldest brother was like, um Toby, you can't sit down at home reading manga and watching anime throughout. You have to do something. So he told me to write 4 articles about 4 skills that I could learn, and if I don't, I can't do anything else until I do that. He didn't even allow us to watch TV until we did it. That I'm talking about me and my brother. So I wrote coding, Android software development, and drawing. Although I haven't made much progress in any of those, but I wrote those, and I was thinking of the last thing for quite a long time. Then it came to my mind, why not 3D animation? And he was also really my brother was really excited about that idea too, so he didn't even waste any time at all. I think the next day he downloaded Blender on our other brother's laptop. The on Yeah, he downloaded Blender on our other brother's laptop. Then I started with the world popular donut course. If you started off with Blender in this decade, then you should know that tutorial. It's the most popular beginner Blender tutorial out there, I'm sure of it. So that's what I started with. I made my donut and cup of coffee. Then after I was done with that, I was like, alright, let me test out my skills. I went ahead, I took one of the chairs in the house, I started modeling it. I was doing quite a good job. It was a simple chair. It was one of our dining chairs. Maybe I'll put a picture of that in the video. It was one of our dining chairs. It was going well, but I ended up deleting the blend file by accident when I was almost done. Then later I thought, alright, let me even test out these skills on modeling a character. By then I didn't really know much about character modeling, but I knew basic modeling, so I modeled Sonic the Hedgehog. And around that time I just recently gone through Deco's beginner ri- beginner rigging tutorial. I know recently he has done one on character rigging, but like this one was just a a first dive into rigging. It's just a tutorial where he rigs this robot arm. So I had done that, so I rigged my Sonic character and I actually posed him with a Chaos Emerald. I was actually quite happy with myself. Then later I decided, alright, let me even try. After watching a lot of videos on sculpting, majorly from my favorite yarn sculpts, I decided, let me try my hand at sculpting. So I started sculpting Robin from Teen Titans. I started sculpting him. I was satisfied with the body, although my standards then were really low. I was satisfied with the body, but sculpting the face was something else. I did not do well. It was terrible. I started over several times, and by then I had been in like about a month or two into Blender. But then something happened and my elder brother had to take his laptop for repairs, and I didn't have anything to use for Blender for a long time. That was like for like 2 or 3 months. It was so sad. But yet I was still watching a lot of sculpting videos, even though I couldn't practice. I just love the sculpting process, even when it's not me doing it. But then the last day of September, his laptop came back from repairs, and then you know what October means. If you follow our Polygon, October means Sculptober. There's a prompt for each day and you have to sculpt each day. So I started Sculptober. I did not believe the amount of sculpting progress I made. It was really surprising. I couldn't finish Sculptober because I had to go to school. School had resumed in like the later half of October, so I had to go to school. But even the progress I had made in Sculptober during the Sculptober period was really awesome. I was really glad. I was grateful. I also feel like some of it came from actually repeatedly watching sculpting videos. A lot of my Sculptober stuff might look like garbage even to me, but I know how much I made progress. So I go to a boarding school, and due to that I did not have opportunity to practice sculpting. Then December we came back for the holidays, but I was having a problem then. My older brother was still around, so I could still use his laptop, but anytime I started something I won't feel the urge to continue. So I just did not do anything till January, and school was resuming January. But due to the coronavirus and everything, I think we resumed 2 weeks into the year. So I decided at a point, alright Toby, you can't just sit down doing nothing. You can't waste time. You need to put in some work into your sculpting. So before we got home, I sat down with one of Luigi Lucarelli's drawings. He's a really awesome 2D concept artist. If you don't know him, just check him out on Instagram and give him a follow. He's really good. I love every single thing he does. So I took one of his drawings. I called it Unity because it was a girl with a headband with Unity written on it, and I sculpted it. It wasn't my first time sculpting something done by Luigi Lucarelli. I had done the head of one of his characters before, and I was actually satisfied. I managed to squeeze that in the middle of Sculptober. So I sculpted the character. It was just a bust. So I sculpted the character. It took me 3 days to sculpt with apologize, texture and render and everything, and I was really glad about how it turned out. So I took about a day or two to rest. Then I went on to sculpt Ladybug. I really love Miraculous, so I sculpted Ladybug, knowing that because I knew from the outset, I knew that all right, I'm diving into sculpting. I will eventually do Ladybug fan art sooner or later. So I did that. It's not as good as, I don't think it's as good. It's nothing near as good as what I would do now, but I was really satisfied with it. It was a kind of full body, but not really full body sculpt, and it took me 3 days, just like the previous one. So, after a few days after I finished the Ladybug sculpt, we went to school, but I was satisfied with what I had accomplished. Due to me being a final year student at secondary school, I did not have much opportunity to come home, and even the times I came home, the little time I spent at home, my elder brother wasn't around for me to use his laptop. So that was sad. Really sad. So I graduated September this year, and November my dad got me my laptop, and I started sculpting that very same day. And I think the following week I opened a YouTube channel. I know it sounds very crazy, very rushy, like it sounds like I'm so impatient, but actually I actually want to see. It's like, I feel like having a YouTube channel, number one, it's alright, I've started early, so even if I'm doing it wrong now, I'll be making progress gradually. But also, it's a way for me to actually save all my videos as time lapses. Like, alright, if something happens to my drive and I lose everything, at least I still have the time lapses of my video, of my sculpt, because I really like remembering the process I took to make a model. And also, I really want to, it's like, it would be really nice to, after a long while, go back and check out how you approach something you did. And that is actually why I opened my YouTube channel. So I opened the YouTube channel, started putting my time lapses. So between my between my creation of a YouTube channel and now, or between me getting a new laptop and now, I think I've done about 5 or so sculpts. I'm actually glad with the amount of work I've managed to put out there. I'm actually really glad. I've sculpted Eng. It was the first thing I sculpted. I sculpted a boxer by Luigi Lucarelli. I had a lot of fun sculpting that one because the reference image was just the head of the boxer, and you can see a little of the top part of his body together with his boxing gloves, but I sculpted the full body out of it. I was really satisfied with it. I've sculpted I did a speed sculpt of reference of a 2D artwork by Angel C. You can check her out. I sculpted an anime girl. I called her Rose. You can check out the video. It was really fun. It was a freestyle. I sculpted a Christmas elf. Another freestyle. I was really glad. I'm really glad with how much I've managed to put out so far. I thank God for progress and improvements. And also, I'm actually working on some tutorials. I think next year I'm going to start putting out tutorials on my YouTube channel. I'll put things out, like I'll start off with a Blender, no, not a Blender beginner tutorial, a sculpting in Blender beginner tutorial. Then also I found out a way to get more ideas for tutorials. I'm actually in a small group of people learning Blender, so anytime someone asks how to do something that I know how to do, I make a small video for the person and I use that as the foundation of the tutorial. Alright, so here you can see, focusing on the sculpt video, here you can see me working on the hands. As you can see, it was, although to many of you it might not be decent, but it was a nice experience. I was actually glad with how well it came out. This is my best hand yet. I'll sculpt more hands, practice more anatomy in general, body parts and all those stuff. But I was actually glad with how well this hand came out and how much experience I gained from sculpting a hand. Because normally most of my sculpts aren't full body sculpt. The only full body sculpt time lapse on my channel is the boxer, and I didn't even sculpt hands and feet for him. I just covered his hand area with gloves and I didn't put feet. So this was really nice. It was helpful. Also, yeah. Also, I learned how to, in this model, I learned how to make pleated skirts, like a quick way for making a quick rough pleated skirt. Let's say you're doing a quick sculpt, you don't want to make a quick pleated skirt. You can just use the trick I did here, or whichever other trick, and I also made shoes. It was fun. I started with the feet. I didn't do detailed feet, of course, because the toes were going to be covered by shoes. Then I made heels. It was really hard and it didn't really turn out how I'd want, but I know if I go and try again, I'll do better. So back to my life story. Not really life story, just my whatever. So now, how have I been learning? Majorly, I've just been learning by practice, from reference, and from observing. I haven't really done any or used any sculpting course. I majorly just got from, like, I don't even think I've only once in my life sat down with a sculpting tutorial and followed it. So I just majorly practice by, alright, I take this picture or I take this reference, this 2D art, and sculpt it, because like there's a lot, like I just love having fun sculpting. That's why my elder brother bought a course on Udemy for me. The tutorial, the course by Victory 3D, sculpting, creating a realistic character in Blender. I've done small peeks at the course. It's really nice. You can check it out on Udemy. He bought it during one of Udemy's epic sales. Udemy always has these epic sales, so that was when he bought it for me, and I haven't really used it, but I know it contains real good stuff: sculpting, retopology, texturing, everything, grooming. So I actually not used the course yet. I've majorly been practicing just by sculpting, because the thing is, I actually want to use the course, but like I'm having so much fun sculpting characters I like I see a reference, I sculpt. I like this character, I sculpt. So like the thing is, you actually make more progress. I've learned that you actually make more progress in your art when you enjoy it. Although it's good to take some intentional lessons. Like now, I think next year, January, I'll make sure I must go through that course, because even if I don't end up, I don't even think I want to make realistic characters, but there's a lot I could learn from the course, especially when it comes to texturing with topology and grooming. So it would be nice to you to go through the whole course, but actually I've mostly just been going around. I like this, I sculpt, and it's a really effective way of practice. If you're the kind of person who has been learning using one tutorial or course or the other, or you have someone teaching you and you really aren't having the feel for it, then why not take a break, or ditch, not really ditch, but pause that for a while and go do a small side project. Sculpt a character you like, or create a character you like, or if you're an environment artist, go create an environment you like. Speaking of environment art, actually plan that next year I'll do a bit of some other areas of 3D. I know the common talk of your niche, you have to follow, you have to have a niche, you have to have something specific doing. You can't go around being, not everyone is supposed to be a generalist or something. You can't be a generalist, you can't do everything. I know my area, my calling in the 3D world is sculpting, or just character modeling in general. But I think it'd be nice if I could learn to make some environments, if I could learn to rig, learn some basic animation. I'd actually love to learn all those things. I actually want to try VFX a bit, not necessarily going into mix videos with 3D and stuff, but like I want to learn how to make really cool effects, like stuff is like really cool visual effects, like stuff you'd see in movies and stuff. It would be really nice, because alright, you create a character, you pose it, alright, even I know you can make awesome dynamic poses that will make you feel the motion, but still it would be nice to actually see your character alive, or in a world you designed, or with some special effects, or actually moving. So this is some things I actually want to do next year. So watch out, Tobyman is going to do some awesome things. And alright, also it would be nice if you guys watch my tutorials and all that, because I'm putting a lot of effort into those. So I think we're coming to the end of the video. I specifically did not rehearse this talk so it could feel a bit more natural. I don't know if you like it or not, but thank you for watching the video. I'll see you next year. We'll all see next year. Alright, bye bye.